And now I was just saying this the other day. It's kind of interesting. It's not like drugs are really the issue. It's more so awkward. Like there's a social difference. If my hair is to be pink and I were to walk around Colorado, there will be a a 20% chance out of that 100%. 20% of those people out of the 100% of potential people, 20% will say, I like it. All right? Okay? And I don't care their opinion, but they'll come up to you and be, I like your hair. And they're strange people. Now, if you had the same experience in California, it's like, hey, what brand did you use? Hey, they're starting a hello. And in Louisiana, it's like, oh, definitely drugs. Definitely something. It's a judgmental thing. So here, like I said, there's a 100% chance overall, but 20% of that are going to come and talk to you. Maybe a 40% chance is going to looked, I didn't mean to look. Looked, I didn't mean to look. So there's they judge you in their head, but they don't talk about it. That's, I guess, nice. Right? I guess it's nice. When you go to a strip club out here in Colorado, it's so weird compared to anywhere else. I come from Louisiana. I actually enjoy strip clubs. They're fun. I just think they're fun. I'm not into women, but I think they're fun. And when you go to a strip club in Colorado, it's like a doctor's office meets liquor store meets crackhead convenience store. It's not the same kind of feeling. And you can't smoke cigarettes. At the time, I used to be a smoker. And it's just a different experience. It just, doesn't feel, it's like a cowboy stuck in a box. Because you are, okay, so this is my best point. The strip clubs are not, fun because they don't have a sense of music. The strippers are crackheads, meaning they come and ask you for crack. Everybody. Ask. Do you have any crack? Do you have any crack? Come on the patio where you have to smoke a cigarette. So that's the even more weirder part. And they're expensive clubs, $20 to get in, and that's your experience. Yeah. And then the strip club I went to with a friend, this is many years ago, but it was very weird. This guy was literally telling me about his wife. That he felt bad. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And he's giving me his money to throw to the hose. And I'm like, oh my God, too much. This is a very uncomfortable therapeutically for men, I think, experience in Colorado. If you want to come and complain to some bitches at a strip club, this is the definite state for you. If you're looking to have a good time, and I don't know, watch a girl, maybe try to get into it too. In Louisiana, that's pretty much it. Now, California is a whole new market. If they don't smell money, they're not going to come talk to you. So, it's a different kind of experience. And I have no experience other than friends that I know that are strippers that do their thing. And that you go you. I think it's almost like Cirque du Soleil for me. I love seeing that kind of shit. And that's the other thing. I actually have friends in Louisiana right now who cannot do what they do because the industry is down. So when I think of California struggling, oh my God, entertainment. Louisiana struggling, entertainment. I even heard that a lot of the movie sets are still trying to proceed with some of, in Louisiana and in Hollywood itself, and the actual movie industry is trying to proceed with movies, but when you think about it, New Mexico's the next best thing. I believe there's some sets in Arizona too, but the movie industry is fucked. And Louisiana, oil industry is so rapidly in trouble right now too. The food industry is messed up. Colorado is not at all really the best for food. Now, alcohol, not a problem. But that's not been a problem. Apparently they're still doing deliveries, shipments, things like that. So, at least in Colorado, it's still happening. Breweries are open and running. They're not. Cannabis has not had a problem in the state, nor has alcohol, which is very interesting. It's considered a commodity, considered essential. And those businesses have done well. And what can you do other than if you're stuck stagnant? So Colorado has not made bad decisions except the oil industry. I know quite a bit of the oil industry, like versus early 90s, was not like that. Yes, the focus was here, but it wasn't in your face. Here, like the oil sites are all over, and you can tell it's definitely being hit because they've all shut down rapidly. So in 8 months, what is it, 8, 9 months now that the pandemic's been on, and I've seen Colorado food service. I've never seen more of a more beautiful thing. Like, we're talking gas stations are giving away food. Nothing's going to waste. City Market, which is our local, another place, grocery store. It's nice to see these places actually care about community. I don't know if the same things are happening in other states. I have not heard that. I have not seen that. And I do understand Denver's been hit pretty hard with COVID. Our area, not comparison. Right now, like my actual town is not hit hard. But we're saying 45 minutes that direction, absolutely. 45 minutes that direction and to a 3-hour period to Denver, absolutely hit. So I feel like I'm clusterfucked by COVID, if you'd say it in any terms. It's a whole new world. And like, I want to say that I know 100% that like this is the hot spot to be at. But I don't know, because like when it comes down to it, when you live in small communities, which is why I left this town when I was a little girl, is that the doctors aren't the best. And so having access to cannabis is essential for me, because we do know that works. And having proper diagnosis, which I've finally gotten, but zero specialists that are willing to do anything about it, which I do think I'd find better in California, even possibly Louisiana. But when we talk about all the years that I've seen the progression of ideas and thinking, and people, even my own doctor, suggesting supplements and using CBD versus even actual THC, which she's not against it, but she's open to it and has suggested using it daily on topical, which is so amazing. I know we've hit a pivot in our lives, all of us, with CBD and THC products, but in the 20 years that I've seen Colorado, like I can remember my mom very specifically and other people being like, a joint all the time, you can throw that shit out the window. You know what I mean? Like now people are like, oh my gosh, I have a friend who blows glass. Like, it's just a totally different experience. Or owns a hemp farm. Or, hey, let me show you my grandma's field. Oh, she doesn't smoke it, but you want some? This is like real stuff. I usually say hello to neighbors. If you smoke, here's some cookies. You want some fudge? Would you like Reese's Pieces? They're all medicated. Like, that's normal for Colorado now. But versus when I was a child, we had a problem in this canyon, with like, I will say it in the kindest way as I can, and I'm sure this is a horrible place to go, but people driving up, opening the door and saying, get in. That was very normal as a little girl, teenager, let's say 9 to 13 at least, 14. I left Colorado when I was 15 years old. Moved to Louisiana, back to Louisiana, after all the years being here. And that's the thing I'm probably going to do a story time in the future about, which, like, it's such a totally different, rapidly more. If the internet had not been introduced to the mountain people out here, people would be naive. Because as a child, I think just because I lived in a city from an early age and had a mother who was at least intelligent enough to tell me not to talk to strangers and all that fun stuff that goes with it, I do think that there has been probably a huge, now I know there's been a huge abduction rate. It's happened since the 90s through these canyons because people weren't as connected. Like, if you broke down, you had to hope someone was nice. And honestly, you were always thinking ahead. Like I said, in the snowstorms, you know, I've seen people drive on the opposite side of the mountains, like on the other side of the canyon, head on in a two lane highway, and turn with no lights in the canyon at night, and you're like, oh my God, this person's going the wrong way, the actual wrong way. And there's no service, cell service, nothing, no call boxes, because that's what I remember as a child. It's just a totally different world. So, like, to have that self-sustainability or that inner knowledge to take care of yourself or to know how to ask for help, huge. When my mom got breast cancer in our town, and it was a little town called Silt, I'll show you guys in the future, but Silt, Colorado, I remember this. Thanksgiving time and Christmas, they left gifts on our porch for me and my family because they did a newspaper article on my mom getting cancer. Now, my mom was remarried at this time, so she wasn't a single mom anymore, but pretty sure she was going to die. They gave her 6 months to live, and we didn't know what was going to happen. At that time, I had just been awarded Make-A-Wish Foundation. Literally, I was dealing with my own battles. So, and I'll talk about that in future videos. Maybe not. I can't tell you when. I could just say I will keep sharing all the damn truth and the rawness as I can. And we'll stem off of that on my other channel. But it's Vlogmas. It's Vlogmas, people. We're vlogging. So I'm talking about stories. And here's Colorado about you. And I'm sure you're going to have questions. So put the comments in the comments. Please, please, please. Leave your questions about this video if you had a question about anything I said. But yeah, I'm trying to... I can say the desert parties, that's some stuff. Like, when I was 14, I saw someone get their ass beat over, not cell phone situations, just I looked at the girl that you're with and I know you from just seeing you. Like, that's normal in many other states. But when you see someone who's like country folk with a steel toe boot beat the crap out of someone to the point their whole face had ticket stitches, and I was there, but we just took this guy, flopped him in the back of a truck, and all I can remember is him gargling blood, so we were so afraid he was going to die. Like, it was hardcore shit. Like, you didn't have a cell phone. You got in the back of a truck. You brought that person to the freaking hospital. You dropped them off. Some people left. Some people didn't. It was so intense. So, and when I know about Louisiana, I didn't get to experience this, thank God, but I know other people who have, where it was like parties where people took too many drugs, they died, and you left. Not a thing that I suggest, but the same damn thing would happen. And, you know, it was a different kind of thing here. Like, somebody got their ass beat. People actually band together and help someone. Like, I know it seems weird, but, like, in a small town, I almost feel like you get a better sense of judgment. And in Colorado, it's like anywhere else that you have to depend on yourself or your neighbors. If you can't make friends, you shouldn't live in this area. Right? Whew. If you can't be nice to people that you have to live in, that the town knows everybody's name, and your vehicle too, no. The town I live in has about 3,000 people, but we're about 1,000 actually living here. And in that 1,000, there are three gas stations. Hold on, four gas stations. It's like Sinclair, 2 Shells, and a 76 or whatever the hell that thing is. I'm probably saying this wrong. Oh, a Come and Go. I'm saying it wrong. Yeah. And then there's 6 collectives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 collectives. Yes. And there's 1 grocery store. And there's 2 Family Dollars, meaning a Family Dollar and a Dollar General. And there's a middle school, a high school, an elementary school, and a learning center. And you've got your police department. I mean, it's a small working town, a post office, and a pack and ship. It does everything it needs to do in its little spot, right? So when I look at the town as it's growing, I do think it needs more restaurants. I do think it needs more things for the kids to do. But now we're in this whole new saga of pandemic living in America in a small town. So, I do think this chat about places I've lived and experiences I've had over the last 20 years, obviously, is good little story time. I probably will talk about, like, boyfriends in the future, which I've already talked about. Growing up in small towns, what's that like? Oh, boy. Where it's like, oh, yeah, I dated him, too. Ha! Or, oh, I know he'd be great for you, but I dated him too. I remember that growing up middle school. Or the story that I had of a friend who we were like mad in middle school that they had made us have hall passes to use the bathroom. We're like, what if you're on your period? You should be able to just go to the bathroom, right? One of my friends chained herself to a bathroom, actual toilet, and stuck a bunch of pads all over her and waited till they basically suspended her. And then I was called into the office one time. I had a principal who was apparently a stoner. We found out much later. His name was Mr. Penn. Mr. Penn? Yeah, like a pen. You writing pen. And Mr. Penn was smoking weed, obviously, cannabis. But he didn't know the difference between his own students possibly doing it. And he was such a damn hypocrite. Because he called me into his office and he was like, are you smoking? And I was sure that it wasn't me, even though I had a mother who was smoking. There was no way that it smelled. There was no way that it smelled. My mom didn't smoke around us. And I love the basis of growing up from a mom in Colorado, in a small town, where you had to hide it, where you had to keep yourself really protected. Honestly, it was probably some of the best experiences I had as a parent, to really just know, like, the etiquette of being a mom and a cannabis user. Which, well, Canna Mom wasn't a conversation we had back then. But I can remember my mom being, like, when I was, like, 12 years old, sitting me down and making me read research she was looking into about Mark Emery and other people, which I've had the pleasure and honor to connect with over the years. And all the different communities of, like, liver disease, chronic illness, just support groups that my mom took me through, which Colorado was always a mecca for. Like, people came here for retreats all the time. So living in Denver, that was a really nice thing to have, I'd say, exercises for the chronically ill, that they would have gatherings, mother and daughter and things like that. My mom kept us very busy with things that the state had. Or my mom would take us on picnics, and we would gather as much food as we could fit for the day, that we expected like a 12-hour drive, whoever we were going. She'd plug her CD player in if we couldn't get the music we needed from the radio. We'd listen to our Doors, our Led Zeppelin, our Allman Brothers, Aaron Neville, you name it. All the 90 hits that my mom liked. And James Taylor, I can remember that too. And basically we would drive to random places and picnic on the side of the road with the food. And see, these are the things that I am so happy that I got to experience from the perspective of the 90s pre-pandemic, and from a single mom's perspective. I'm so glad. Now what we're doing, my son, that is some of the funnest things we do now, is just finding new ways. So what's some of the stuff that I'm planning to do that my mom never got to do? Well, technology wasn't our friend back then. It is now. So I'm planning to purchase what is it? My phone's going to go out. This video is going to end any second, but I'm just going to end it here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But I am planning to probably unbox some things in my next video, by the way, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm buying a projector that is technically a portable projector for like Bluetooth. And I'm going to put a sheet if I need to. But I'm going to set my SUV up in the mountains, even when it's snowing, whatever the heck. Me and my son are going to go basically wandering and project up a movie out in the woods. Because actually where I live now, it's pretty damn good Wi-Fi. I have some of the best Wi-Fi for very, very cheap. $40 a month. Kind of cheap. The cell phone I'm thinking about. Wait, though. Budgeting. Yeah, it's about $40 a month. It's not bad for the internet that's unlimited and to have hotspots. And then my home internet isn't so bad. When I can remember, internet was a joke back in the day in these mountains. But and let's talk about water. Water tasted amazing in Denver, and water tasted beautiful in parts of Colorado, like Glenwood. There were some nice spots, but through this part where I live and everywhere else, it's fracking. So I have a filter, and I hate to say that, they screwed our water. It's the only thing I can really say. They screwed our water because, like, you can drink Denver water and it's like, oh my God. I don't know if it's still the same, but it tasted like spring. But Denver was just like, it's not very pretty. And their speed limits suck. Like, seriously, they're like 55 some spots. And you're like, this is really an 85. Come on now. We're almost on each other's bumper because it's 55 miles an hour. And there's a lot of cops. And there's a lot of corruption. And murders. And freaking shootings. What's up with the shootings in Colorado? Like, that's the thing. I lived out here before the shootings even started. I can remember very clearly JonBenet Ramsey case and all that other fun stuff growing up in Colorado. I lived here in this town when that happened, and it was like very plastered everywhere. And Colorado took it personal that there were like all these things happening. But over the years, talk about another video. I do strongly believe there is some spiritual hold over this state, and I will talk about that in another vlog, another Vlogmas. Spirituals, the spirituals, who's down? Did you enjoy this video? I kind of enjoyed doing it. Let me stop it. Let me cut all this together. Hopefully it'll make sense. I was not perfect. I'm sorry. Never will be perfect. I'm not trying to be. Cheers. Don't try to be yourself either. I mean, be yourself, but do not try to be perfect. Please. We're all in a pandemic. There's nothing that you can make happen perfectly right now. Not for anybody. Besides keeping safe, we can't really even control that. Like, try to be smart. That's what I'm trying to say. Be smart. So, before I go, let's burn one more time. And where is it at? I'm about to touch up my hair. It's not horrifics, but I'm not, not perfect. But you see the breakouts? What the hell is this? Yeah. That's the stress of the pandemic. I'm telling you, I've never broken out even when, like, I was a teenager that bad. It's the stress of the pandemic. All right, I had to restart the video. Hopefully I don't lose you. So, it doesn't look very tasty. Believe me, it does the damn trick. Trick. Do you like this shirt? I like it too. So, yeah, I'm trying to get out that damn box. I hope you guys enjoyed the long chit-chat about Colorado, in my opinion. I think it is a powerful place to live. I do think it's a wonderful place for family. If you can find your mojo here in this state, you should do it. If you're only here and you're trying to avoid cannabis, good luck with that, because we're probably as competitive as Colorado, if not more. And we've got it down pat, just like them. It's not really, it's kind of like, I don't know, brother and sister. We know what we're doing at these states. You know, their politics are different. And I hate to say this, but they went to shit over the last 10 years, I'd say. I'm all smoky up in here. Yeah, their politics just, I don't feel like I've kept up with what citizens have needed. There are still a lot of freaking homeless people. Maybe I'll do California's next. And I don't think it's right that people should have to choose to live on the street versus find some way to get from their situation to a higher situation. Supplemental situation. But I would say the other thing that, like, feels very strong about the politics in this state versus anywhere else is that we, the people, do decide. And if you followed this last election, which I will talk about maybe in one video, but I'm not going to talk about it in this one. But in this last election, it did feel like Colorado people were in complete denial who were against Trump, that we were going to win. We really didn't think we were, but we were hoping. But to see all the Trump supporters be completely mortified by the fact that they were not winning, and to hear some of the, let's say, hate speech put upon if you were a normal voter was a bit much. And that's the only thing I've ever seen similar in the South. In California, people don't tell you how to vote. Thank God. But here in Colorado, yes, they do. They tell you how to think. They tell you how to vote. So having friends who are similar-minded or open to ideas, or even just being, if you are a Trump supporter, not hateful, was also something I have found in Colorado, nowhere else. Because I did have some bias, let's say, in the way that I thought versus the way that some other people thought. But nobody was like beating down my door or shunning me as a friend. And I've never seen politics be brought into religion or into schools when it comes to Colorado. I cannot say the same. Politics definitely were brought into California, but Louisiana, not the same. But in first grade in the 90s in Denver, first grade, I can remember Clinton and Hillary, the situation with Monica Lewinsky had happened, and people, or no, wait, it wasn't Monica Lewinsky. I think it was the abortion, like he was trying to be elected. Abortion was on the ballot, and, or was the talking point, let's say. In Colorado, the schools were very open-minded to teach kids in first grade to discuss politics, which I think was really interesting. It's probably the dynamic of why I'm saying that even at early age, teachers are trying to teach kids, like, this is the way the world works, people. And in first grade, it was first, second, third, fourth. So you almost got 2 years in these combined studied classes. I can't remember what they called it. And I mean, definitely I can say there was good and there was bad. Being a vegetarian in Colorado and being in the schools, and like I can honestly say Colorado was the type of state where like you walk to school uphill in ice for 25 minutes with 2 sets of gloves on and a scarf, and only had this much to see, and the breathing hurt and the fingertips hurt even with the 2 gloves, and then by the time you got up the hill you couldn't think straight, and your teeny tiny little speck of vision. You took your muffs off, you took your mitts off, you put your scarf in your damn hook, and you were wet and cold for about an hour. That was really real in Colorado. Because even growing up in Denver, even if we got dropped off, like you'd play outside in the playground. I don't remember many days where they put us in the gym. So what I've seen now, and I mentioned this in my last video, there is children, at least in the elementary school I've seen, that are outside almost all day. Like literally, I think they go inside to eat. They don't eat outside. I've not seen that. But the playing and all, they're out all day long. Like, assumingly, I guess they're sitting in social distance squares and that's the thing. The elementary schools in the 90s, when I went to the elementary school that's right down the block, didn't have a fence. You didn't have to wear uniforms. They don't wear uniforms, but there's a fence. It's a big-ass fence. And I think about that. We definitely had special ed kids, like, could have definitely walked off the field. But that's why you had teachers' aides. That's why you had people who were, like, doing their damn job. Like, the 90s in Colorado, very different. Very effing different than Colorado schools and like gun. Oh, here we go. Here's a great example. Or my own son in his first year of school, before the pandemic happened, his first experiences in real school, told me about the, what was it called? Red alert drills. And I think I think that's what they're called. But they're basically bad guys coming in the building. The way he explained to me, my 4-year-old child, 3 to 4-year-old child, he's 4 at the time, drop to the ground and try to hide. Get in your hiding spaces for the bad guys not to shoot you and kill you. That was not real. That did not happen at all in my childhood. Oh my gosh. You know what was really big in Colorado? DARE. Drug abuse resistance education. Very big in Colorado. Hugest in Colorado, especially where I'm at. Like, oh my gosh. I don't even think they focused on sex ed. It was just DARE. You gotta graduate. You gotta get that shirt. So, walk across the stage. You need your certificate. So, compared to that, when I'm looking at this whole situation with the pandemic, and prior to that, talk about you nip that in the butt when we're not all at the building. And really, the only children that are in contained buildings now are special needs kids or containment kids who need that one-on-one structure. I've tried to get my son into a building. It's not happening. I think we talked about it last time. I got a little scared. We're not doing it. And now, like, that's a real good point. I hate to say it, but gun violence doesn't hit Colorado or many other states, but mostly Colorado, as often anymore now because of the pandemic. Is that something to be excited about? Oh my God, this is the world we live in. Yeah. It's insane. Colorado from the early childhood, it's probably why I had so much PTSD with the freaking police, and I've never had any experiences really other than the few times I've been pulled over for speeding in Louisiana because I had to. There's never really any police growing up around the town. Really, there really was no police. Now, where do the police hang out? The sheriffs, the highway patrols, they're assholes. They hang out right where they're supposed to, in their little neck of the woods, looking for that damn tourist who smoked too much and drove. Now, if you're a local, it's very weird. You get like, police help people change tires on the side of the road. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's nice, but it's weird. But if you are speeding, I've had a police officer follow me all the way home, pull into my own driveway, have a chit chat with me, and give me his card, and tell me if I needed anything to call him. Tell me what that is. Small town mentality. Everybody else told me in town that was totally normal. I was like, I'm coming from Los Angeles and Louisiana. The man's trying to kill me. Chop me up into pieces. Put me somewhere. He could, legally, get away with most of it. Not good. Not good. So, I just come from Los Angeles where it's like I got in a car accident or somebody fender bendered while I was in a Target. Bullshit. Hit my car. Dimpled the ass. Okay? And the police come. I try to get the tape from Target. Target's all about it. Get you the damn tape. Get the police here, please. That's what we have to do. Get that police report. I go and do it. The police in California are literally like, are you sure? Are you sure you didn't accidentally, I don't know, put the car in reverse and hit it? What are you talking about? Why would I want to be here talking to a light pole? You think the light bulb did that? It's like 5 feet over. No. And the light bulb's there. Is there damage to the light pole? No. I think that's your job. I've had the total opposite in Louisiana when I had a hit and run of a drunk driver with his damn like cowboy dog in the back. And I chased him. I couldn't help it, okay? I couldn't help it. So I chased him, and I got him to stop. He was surprised. And then I went up to his car. I walked to his car with the little Nokia. You know, cell phone days. We're talking 2003, I think. Yeah, hold on. Yes, 2003. I've got 911 on the phone already. He doesn't know it. Operator saying, hello? I'm saying, hold the fuck on. So I walk over to the little damn asshole who, when he did a U-turn, he lifted my car off the back, dented my ass, so I chased him. I'm sorry. You hit my brand new car. The car was a month old. Not playing. Compared to police not wanting you to speed because they're worried about animals and people. It's just a totally different world. Like, I'm going on a tangent, but Louisiana in comparison to California, in comparison to Colorado. Now, let me think of some other police situations. Honestly, you can like go 85 miles an hour and get away with it just fine when it's like 75. Technically, people encourage that. The only other thing that's really sad that people don't understand is that you can't you can't be driving on the right side of or the left side of the lane the whole time. That's the fast lane and the passing lane, okay? And the main lane, if there's a car on the side of the road, yes, you have to get over. You got to give the damn car some room. Why? Because only 2 lanes. People don't know this. It makes us so mad as Coloradians. I am officially a Coloradian because of that. It definitely annoys me. It annoys the shit out of me. Like, get away. Get away. It's a Colorado thing. Another Coloradian thing. I definitely remember this growing up. During Halloween, when you walk up to someone's house and say, trick or treat, it still exists. This definitely happens. You walk up to their house, they got a big ass tree, right? And they got meat hanging, it's bleeding, it's dripping. That's pretty normal. Pretty normal Colorado behavior. They're not trying to like kill people and leave them, but the blood's not a prop. They're hunting. Or people, if you say you're hungry, do you eat this and that? And though, you know, I'm vegetarian, so they don't quite understand it, but they try to be nice. I've had people ask me before, like, is pig okay? Like, just because it's a white meat doesn't change it. You know? And they don't consider fish any different. No, fish is a carrot. I know you eat it. No, I don't. So, yeah, not the best. But people are pretty understanding if you talk slow. Explain it to them, or just buy your damn own ingredients. That's pretty much what I do. Buy my own ingredients, make my own shit, make good shit. All the things I've tasted and experienced in California and Louisiana. But Colorado has changed, at least in putting more restaurants out there. But believe it or not, at least in the early 90s and going into the 2000s, they were very Louisiana themed. There are still quite a bit of Cajun influenced restaurants in Denver, but really Denver I think is the hot spot for like Middle Eastern food too, because you can't find it out here. Like nobody wants to give you a falafel. It's horrible. You could buy hummus. That's about it. That's it. So yeah, and good pizza and whatnot, it's mostly not a thing. But Denver's better. You spend a lot on rent. Let me just say, I'm lucky. I don't spend $2,000 like normal California prices. As I said, many people came from those places, and I hate to say it, it did up the prices because it was like keep them out or keep them in. So if you have a standard of living in Denver at $2,000 a month for probably shit, then you'll do just fine there. But most of the time it is hard to find real estate or just rentals, because what I do here is it all goes really, really fast. Yeah, and like where I live, you can rent out places in the middle of nowhere where you don't have any reception and you have to haul your own water for nothing. You can rent that. Yep. Oh, but by the way, you need a bulldozer to move the snow, and the rocks and whatever else may happen. And you're going to bust your windshield, and I hope you have snow tires. So that cheap rent comes with a tag. The only thing that I definitely have learned in the last 5 years of living in the same area has been, yes, I needed an SUV the whole damn time. And yep, I'll keep the heater on and a fireplace. I got my fireplace. I'm not playing around here. So, and if I want something, I order it. Don't feel bad about it. Let me tell you, that helps with motherhood. Because we didn't have those options. Yes, eBay existed back in the day, but my mom likes Spiegel, and I think I know why now. Because she could order. And we used to have this Swan's frozen food. Because in the small towns we are, like, oh my gosh, you couldn't get everything you wanted at the grocery store back in the day. Or technically you have to go an hour away. So, Swan's, ice cream, and everything else. I should seriously do that, though. It sounds really yummy. Because they are really good. But yeah. Let me think. There's so many random things. What can I say? Like when I was a child, what would you do at this time of year when we started getting snow? Like I said, Halloween, you'd see the bloody fucking carcass. But in the wintertime, as a child, you get your snow boots on. You'll go get a cardboard thing if you were the kid without the money or the shit. I didn't really ever want to own a sleigh. I was kind of like, I don't think I'll ever use it that often. My little brother had a sleigh. But as an older sister, 6 years older, I can remember many times us just being like, all right, let's go up on that hill. Technically, it was our school because they didn't have a fence. In the wintertime, when there was like a break, Christmas time, we would take cardboard or a sleigh or, I'm pretty sure we used cardboard. Big piece of cardboard and just slide down the hill. And it was a lot of fun. Or we would take our bikes and drive all over the place. And basically where I live has been being developed so slowly over the last 20 years. Honestly, it's kind of weird saying that. Yeah, like I'll take you guys on a walk through the bridge with my son. There's this little bridge, and to like take into how far as a little kid I walked around this town. Holy moly. So yeah, maybe I'll show you guys in this Vlogmas episode series some of the areas in the area that I live that have some historic memories. I've been sharing it with you guys, you just didn't know. I don't say everything. But yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this interesting approach to my opinion of 20 years since I've been back from Colorado. And my experience from moving early Colorado days away from the chaos and believe me, the chaos is still in Denver. I hate to say it. It's really bad. They still have their windows boarded up because of the Trump election thing, and it's bad. I won't lie, it's bad. But stay tuned for my next Vlogmas video. Hopefully that'll be tomorrow. It has to be. We're not talking about this. It's happening. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy.